Hello, so another week. So this week is week commencing Monday, 1st of March, so start of a new month. I think we're officially into spring now. So quickly, fuel prices for this week. The BWOC or BWOC, that's 100.19 pence a litre. And the shocking thing this week is, couldn't believe it when I saw it, I almost fell off my seat. My Shell card through UK Fuels is cheaper. It's 99.9 pence. They did actually ring me up last week. I haven't used it in weeks or months really. Had a brief chat with them because I was my hands free on the phone on the van, didn't work great. And yeah, after that chat, they've lowered it. So in the past they've kind of told me they can't lower it on so much on that card because it's like quite a good card to use. There's lots of, you can use it Shell, Texaco, Esso, any of them, any Gulf. So it's really easy one to use. That's why it costs more, but they seem to have lowered their price now anyway. So I'm going to be using that this week. So I filled up with Shell. It's the first Shell fuel I put in a new van. Yeah, so it's actually Tuesday now, and I'm in Poole Harbour. Tramped in a place called Poole Park yesterday. Really close, so real nice area here. So I can't see too much because of the murk and mist, but hopefully that's going to burn off. Quite nice memories of Poole. Came here for a family holiday when I was in my teens, and just been fishing in this harbour with Dad a fair bit in that week. It's good fishing, yeah. Both had a good thing about Poole since then. Poole's obviously right next to Bournemouth, if anyone's not sure where it is, just to the west. So yeah, yesterday morning, usual story, when I'm at home, a bit late started looking about 10, actually got a job at half 10, from 15 minutes from my home down to long wheelbase van, 2 pallets down to Cardiff or Cardiff area. I'm going to have to move here because the tide's coming in, I'm going to get wet feet. So yeah, got there, and the guy booked it, the job, he was actually there to give me instructions and stuff, but when I got there they couldn't find the pallets. To cut a long story short, I waited around for a while, and he says, right, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to find them for a while, mate. What's your cancellation? I said 25 quid. And he says, okay, we'll call it 30. So yeah, I got 30 quid for cancellation. They'd probably take cost an hour of my time, but it's only like 7 miles to get there. And then after that, I sat around for a while looking for jobs, didn't get anything straight away. It was getting towards lunchtime, so I nipped home, had some lunch. Then I got another job. I was kind of thinking that might be it for the day, but yeah, got a job shortly after lunch, about like 2ish. That was, again, yeah, not far from me, a bit further for me this time, Dudley, which is like a 30-minute drive. Picking up from a heat treatment place, 1 pallet, as it turned out, it's booked in as a long wheelbase job. It's 1 pallet from a heat treatment place to a aerospace company down here in, it's actually in Bournemouth, Poole side of Bournemouth. To be honest, it's going to be a small one job. It's €1 pallet, a few aluminium castings on it. There's no weight to it whatsoever because I've gone on a small van, but I'm not complaining. And this one was 174 miles on the CX. I quoted 167 and got it. Like I say, he sent it through without calling. It's a bit naughty, but I'm not complaining at the moment. It's happened to get any work. I'm shaking, I was cold. Yeah, so I actually came a different way to what the CX suggested. I managed to shave, I think it was 24 miles off a journey. And I had 8 miles to get to it, something like that. But then when I got down here, there was all the road closed. It was the A31, so I put an extra half hour on the journey. Probably not that many more miles, but yeah, yesterday I was well over £1 a mile. 197 for the day, so that's a reasonable start to the week. So sat here in Bournemouth, in Poole, sorry. Gonna finish having a walk, try and find a coffee, try not to get too wet feet. Yeah, and hopefully pick up a job sooner rather than later. Alright, Wednesday now, Wednesday morning, just after 9. So yeah, I did 1 job yesterday. So I stopped quite a nice walk in Poole, and then I moved sort of towards the other side of Bournemouth, so I was within half an hour of Southampton. Could still cover Bournemouth and Poole, and then probably half an hour to Salisbury as well. And then I parked there for a short time, and I actually managed to get a job. It was a small van job, but with one pickup, 2 deliveries. Quite surprised I got it because I was half an hour from it in Southampton. I quoted quite high. I can't remember. I might put on the screen what it was, but I basically priced it 75 pence a mile, including getting there, which is 20 miles. But maybe the fact that it was 2 drops should always be priced a bit higher if it's got multiple drops or collections. Anyway, I got that job. So one drop in sort of Cambridgeshire way, about an hour north of the M25. It's a bit annoying because I had to. Well, it was the way the job was priced anyway and put on the CX, but I had to go through to Cambridge because that was a priority drop, Cambridgeshire area, and then back down into London, NW7 or N7, just off the A1, is it, or M1 or whatever, sort of Edgware area drop, and I was just picked up from like a powder coaters, but I think this company also installs stuff as well, because I delivered to 2 building sites to their engineers. Pretty straightforward. So I was tipped by 3 o'clock, didn't get anything else, so it was 167 quid for yesterday. Pretty quiet in the afternoon jobs wise, even jobs for the following morning. Yeah, so that was Tuesday. So I'm in North London now. I've moved a bit further north to be sort of a bit further out the city. I'm sat in Borehamwood now, in Wicks car park. I'll shortly have to move on before the free parking runs out. Yeah, so I don't like being in London. I think it's one of the hardest places to get a job. Not particularly busy considering how big city it is, and there's just so much competition. If there's anywhere you have to go cheap, I reckon it's sort of London. Yeah, so I might end up having to go cheap just to get the hell out of here. Anyway, right, that's it so far. Alright, Wednesday afternoon now, so yeah, I was sat in London, picked up a job about 10:30. Was a medium wheelbase job from London, about 15 miles from where I was. It was an 80-mile job, down here to the South Downs National Park. Really rather pleasant rolling countryside, a bit murky still today. Actually went in for this job. It was 80 miles, medium wheelbase, priced at 77, which, you know, is close to £1 a mile for a medium wheelbase job loaded, but because I was quite far from it, and the guy rings me up, says, oh yeah, we'll call it 80, mate. So alright, fine, yeah. So it's £1 a mile, and it was picking up from a joinery manufacturer's place and delivering it to a farm over that way, just around the corner. Like a unit on a farm. I think they did like kitchen fitters and stuff. Quite a nice place to drop off rather than the usual industrial estates. Yeah, so it went alright. Easy pickup, easy drop off. Yeah, and the guy was sound as really. Once I dropped it off, he texted me to say thanks for doing a good job and keeping the app updated. Says I've left your feedback and I've got your invoice and pod off the CX, and I don't need to post anything. I've just paid you, so that's good. So I've left him feedback as well. I don't normally leave feedback until I've got money. I know I've got money in the bank and I've checked my bank account, which I normally do at least every 2 weeks. I checked his feedback and there's loads of other people saying great guy, pays early and all that stuff. So yeah, I just sent him the feedback early today. So that was about 1:30 I tipped. I've been sat in this lay-by since about 2 o'clock. I'm having my lunch next to this unit, sandwich, meal deal, of course. I've been sat here, a few jobs pinged up from around here, but not got anything for today, obviously. Nothing lined up for the morning either. So I'm going to move now that way, the other way down the road, to Petersfield, which is just a few miles down the road. It's on the A3, I think. And from there, I'm like within half an hour of Havant, Waterlooville, Portsmouth. I think Guildford going the other way. Better place to get jobs in the morning. Gonna get myself some chips. Watch something I think on my tablet. I can't remember what I downloaded for the iPlayer. But yeah, disappointing day. So that's 80 quid for the day, you know, and probably just over 80 pence a mile for them. Not great really when you take into account the unloaded miles. So yeah, the struggle continues. Right, Thursday afternoon now. Time is it? About 4. Just after 4. So yeah, I was in Petersfield yesterday. Quite a nice place to tramp in a car park in the middle of town. Restricted parking between 8 AM and 6 PM, so it's fine. Finding that quite a lot with normal car parks. You can park there all night, no issue. Really quiet. Yeah, and then this morning I sat there and got myself a coffee and a meal deal from the BP M&S garage, which I'm doing quite a lot at the moment. Yeah, anyway, sat there for a while. Had a pricing on one job and they did ring me up. It was 120 miles, long wheelbase, 2 collections and 1 drop. And the drop being in Margate, I think it's called, in Kent, which is like the furthest east tip of Kent. And they rang me up. I was about 45 minutes from it. The way I priced it was just under £1 a mile loaded, but because I had quite a drive to get there, 45 minutes, it was 75 pence a mile, all in miles. And that's like my bottom price at the moment, even what's going on. And he rings me up. It was one of the big nationals. Says, yeah, I'll ring him up, blah, blah, blah. He's still available, yeah. And he goes, can you do anything with the price? And I was like, well, not really, because it's two pickups and a drop. It all takes time, and it is tipping a bit out the way, even though I wouldn't mind going to that part of the world, just have a look around. Perk of the job. And I said, he was a bit like humming and hawing. I says, well, what price do you want? And he goes, really, I'm looking for 100 quid. I just said, no, I can't do that, mate, because even loaded miles, that would have been 83 pence a mile for a long wheelbase with 2 collections and a delivery over 120 miles. No way. Shouldn't really ever go that low. So I said, no thanks. And with the loaded miles getting there, it would have been, I was doing like 63 pence a mile overall, so no chance. So that was that one. Then probably an hour or so later, just before 11, a job pinged up from Bognor Regis, which I was half an hour from, to Buckingham. So I quoted on it, and then I realised I didn't see quotes only, so I rang, got the job, but I quoted 120 for it. He did knock me down to 110 on this one. It still worked out. Bit of a faff on this job. I don't normally mention companies to pick up from and stuff, but this was another automotive one. So I mentioned the other week I was at McLaren F1. This was picking up from the Rolls-Royce factory, sort of Chichester, Goodwood area, but it was picking up. The address I was given was the big like logistics and stores area in Bognor Regis. So I went there. They just looked at me blankly in a transport office. Eventually they phoned the main plant and found out that I had to be collecting from there instead. I'd been given the wrong address, so I had to nip over to there. That was 15 minutes. Got there, sit in the queue behind trucks and stuff, and go through all the COVID thing. I had to wash my hands and all that stuff in front of them. And they insisted this wasn't good enough as a mask, so I had to put my proper face mask on. First time I've had that, but I always carry on in my pocket anyway. Don't need to use it so much now, I'll just wear this. It's a fabric one, just in case you want a proper one. Yeah, so I eventually got loaded, and then I looked at the timings. This is one reason why it's always good to mark when you're on site and stuff, because I looked at the timings, and once I was finally loaded, it was an hour and a half, but I'd driven for a quarter of an hour and kind of driven part of the journey to the tip. So yeah, half an hour's included, so an extra hour, but I'd kind of got closer to the tipping location, so I just said a tenner. Really, I should have said 15, I think.
He was fine with that, so I went back up to 120 quid for that. There's no weight to it, 2 pallets, and it looked like they were just rear lights. And it's going back to the company who'd made them by the looks of it, for Rolls-Royce. So maybe they're rejects or something. Yeah, so I'm in Aylesbury now, not a million miles from Banbury, where there's a Amazon depot. So I thought, check that. And I have actually managed to snag a job for a 3.5 hour one from 5 o'clock. So a night one is going to be same day. It's probably going to take me like 2.5, 2 3/4 hours. But it's £52 or something. Or was it 55? I can't remember. But good thing about Amazon is, as long as I cancel within 45 minutes of the job, it doesn't count against me. If you leave it less than 45 minutes and you do that too often, you get kicked off the system or deprioritised or whatever. I don't know. So if I don't get a better job before 5, that's what I'll be doing, and it'll boost my earnings for the day. Hopefully it stays quite fine weather, not raining. So that is Thursday so far.
Right, good morning from Stratford upon Avon, home of, or birthplace of William Shakespeare. I think that building there is the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. I don't know about you, but I've never been into the theatre and all that stuff. Each to their own and everything, but yeah, never really been for me, but it's done in town. So quick update on yesterday, the Amazon block. I've been really lucky with the last 2 blocks I've done Amazon. Wasn't quite so lucky this time. It's a bit of a dog, to be honest. I knew you're picking up in the evening, late afternoon, early evening. It's going to be a same day block. I was kind of hoping to get like an urban one, and they're much more accommodating in Banbury and other depots I can work from, because they struggle to get people. I probably haven't done an evening block at all, but I've done an evening block in Banbury for months, probably over a year. It used to be a case you'd go there, you'd queue up, and then it was first come, first serve. These swans after my coffee. Anyway, and you'd queue up, and then you'd say, right, can I have Coventry, can I have Leamington, Warwick, or whatever, and try and get one rural, urban, sort of on the way home. So that used to be my plan. So at the moment, they've changed it now, so you either just say you want a CV postcode or an OX postcode. So obviously went to CV, thinking if I get a decent one Coventry, I might be able to nip home for the night. But yeah, it didn't really work out. I must have got the furthest south CV postcode going. It was like 15-minute or less than 15-minute drive to my first drop north. And the furthest north I came is here in Stratford upon Avon. Yeah, so it's like I had 22 drops in total. 10 of them were in Stratford and Avon. They're not too bad. There was like 2-3 minute drive between each one. And then I had a few towns that had 2 or 3 in, but like the rest were just like farmhouses and country houses. So a bit of a dog, so I kind of realised I wasn't going to get home. It was pointless rushing it. I wouldn't have got home to gone 9. So I actually stopped on my way around, had a Chinese in Shipton on Stour or something, really nice little town on my way around. Not fried rice this time, it's a boiled rice special, so a bit healthier. And yeah, I changed the order up a bit because it had me sort of coming up here to do Stratford and then heading down there, and I didn't want to end up in a stick, so I did them first. Something you can easily do once you know how to navigate the Amazon Flex app. And made sure I finished here. Tramped on, just like obviously there's no easy places to park here or cheap places to park, because even overnight they charge, because it's a touristy place. So I parked in some, not too far from here, like a 5-minute walk really, on some private streets. Real nice area, decent night's sleep. So yeah, obviously Friday now, I'm less than 15 miles from home, hoping to get like a reasonable job to the northwest, would be nice, and back. I really want to go north. I'm not gonna, well, I won't rule it out, but I want to avoid going down south really. I was particularly London area. But yeah, it's been a bit of a tough week. Hopefully have a decent day today. But yeah, so that is the River Avon, of course, Stratford upon Avon. So further down river goes to Evesham, and then the M goes under the M5, so when you go up and down the M5 you can see it quite well. It obviously comes out in Avonmouth right down by Bristol, doesn't it? So yeah, I don't think it joins a 7 until all the way down there. So yeah, nice to have a look around. Got myself a Costa coffee. Just gonna have a little bit of sightseeing and then get back to the van, so I'm ready to go should I get a job, or when I get a job. Here we go, Stratford Canal heads off from this river. The river's obviously navigable, and this heads off to sort of towards the Birmingham Canal network. This little blighter, I think he's sleeping. Quack quack.
Right, late Friday afternoon now, early evening, so just after 6 p.m. Yeah, so this morning it's been quite a busy day today. So just after 8, maybe 8:15, a bid on a job, kind of localish, ending up in the East Midlands. I think it was collection 2 deliveries, and I quoted it reasonable money. A bit annoying this one. They rang me, but it rang like twice, literally like, you know, second ringtone. And by the time I answered it and said hello, blah blah blah, it kind of like hung up. It's a bit of a strange one. No, the message saying I'd missed a call, you know, from them. So I rang them straight back. Yeah, it turns out it was a shipper. Gave them a CX number and stuff, and they says, "Oh yeah, I see what job you bid on, blah blah blah." And they spoke to a colleague, person on the phone. "Oh, sorry, it's just sold." So that got me thinking, you know, maybe it's one of the big nationals. Maybe, you know, like they select a few people and then ring them all at the same time, and then whoever picks up the phone first gets a job. Maybe think if it's one of them, it's a bit like, you know, when you get spam nuisance phone calls, they phone like 20 people at the same time, and then quite often you'll answer it, and then there's nothing there, or it hangs up when you answer because somebody else has already answered before you. I did wonder, maybe it wasn't that thing, maybe it was just they didn't leave it ring for very long, I don't know. Anyway, we didn't get that job, so I was a bit annoyed at that, because it would have been nice to get going early doors before 9 o'clock, which I haven't managed to do this week really, from memory. And then maybe an hour or so later, I had 2 bids on a few jobs. One from Stratford itself and the other one from Warwick, about 15 minutes away. And I got the one from Stratford, agreed to do that, and then straight after, when I hung up the phone, the one from Warwick rang me, and I had the usual, "Sorry, I've just accepted a job from somebody else," and it was the same company but different depots, so one of the big nationals. I accepted the job, the South Birmingham depot, and the other one was the Lancaster depot. It probably worked out well in the end, because this smaller job from Stratford kept me local, whereas the other one was a bit of a punt because it was going up to the northwest. Short wheelbase job, priced at 75 pence a mile including getting there, but it's only about 10 miles from it, so I could have done that, but then I would have found myself back home because it being a Friday. Yeah, so I did the one from Stratford, a few miles from where I was. Like I say, so this is a small van job, priced at about £1 a mile because it wasn't very far, going to west of Worcester, WR6. Small van job, ended up picking up 1 box from an industrial unit and taking it to some energy company, to a private property where I delivered it to a fitter. So I'm guessing he's Sparky or the solar panels or something like that. And then that was that job. But before I headed over there, sort of Worcester area, there's an Amazon depot in Droitwich. So I thought, before I set off, I had a quick look at the Amazon Flex feed and actually booked myself in at 2:30 for an Amazon Flex block from Droitwich. And this was £45.50, which is normally what they pay you for a 3.5 hour block. This is a 2.5 hour block. So yeah, that would have been a decent block. So I kind of had that booked in. That was my sort of fallback plan if I don't find anything better. And then shortly after pulling up in a labour, after dropping off at this house, because it was, you know, on a country lane, couldn't just stop outside it. There's only 5-10 minutes. Bid on a job from Hereford. Same company I'd just done the thing for, but this time the Hereford depot. I was quite far from Hereford. I was 25 miles from there, just under 50-minute drive. It was a small van job, 77 miles loaded. I quoted 80 quid, and the phone rang straight away. And it says blah blah blah. From Hereford, is still available? Yeah. I says yeah. Of course, usual rubbish. Says, could you do it for 70? And I says, no, I can't, mate, because I'm quite far away and I'm in a long wheelbase. It just doesn't stack up any less than 80. And he's like, okay, fair enough, I'll send it through now. So yeah, I got that job. Drive straight over to Hereford to get there in time. That was just picking up 3 boxes. This is a small van job, like I say, through to the West Midlands. Turns out about 4.5 miles from my house. Yeah, so got that nice drive over to the West Midlands. Tipped out about just before 3 o'clock. And then I'm thinking, right, maybe pick up another job locally, or I'd obviously cancelled my Droitwich Amazon Flex block by this point, because I knew I was going away from the area and wouldn't have time, or wouldn't make sense to go back there anyway. So I then jumped back on the Amazon feed, and then I was looking on the Flex thing, and there's a few jobs pinged up in Wednesbury, which is only like 2 miles from the depot, Amazon. And I didn't get them because I was just a bit too slow, because when they flash up in popular places, just on the Amazon Flex app, you refresh, and it refreshes the jobs available, and it states a price and how many hours. And as soon as they ping up for popular places, you've got to select it and swipe. And quite often, if you get a red banner, you've been too slow. And sometimes you do it instantly and it's too slow. Eventually, on the third attempt of a Wednesday one, when they're popping up, went green, so I got the job. So that was starting at 4, so I wasn't sure if it'd be Amazon same day or normal Amazon delivery. But I thought more likely to be same day, and it was. But it was picking up at 4, 3.5 hour block. If it's a 3-hour block, they tend to be really local to a depot. 3.5, you get the same amount of parcels, but it's a bit more of a drive to get there. And it turned out to be that way. It was 22 miles, Castle Bromwich, just off the M6, but a bit of a drive. The M6 was running fine, thankfully. But I only had 16 drops, so quite different. Yesterday, obviously, I had 23 drops, and loads of them were rural. This was 16 drops, all, even though it was same day, they were pretty close together, no big trips, 2 or 3 minute drive between each one. So got that off. It only took me an hour and a half, around 40 minutes, say, from getting to a depot to delivering the last one. Whereas normally it's 2 3/4 hours for a same day, 3.5 hour block, to 3 hours to actually do it. So it didn't take me very long. But the bad thing with this, and it's always a worry with Amazon Flex or any multi-drop you pick up, there's one, it didn't ask me to deliver it. There's one drop missing. I went from drop 5 to drop 7, so drop 6 disappeared off my feed, off my route. And sure enough, at the end I had one little book folder, they call them, left. So I had to take it back to the depot. But having it been a short block, wasn't so bad. And the depot is not far from my house, at probably an extra 5 miles and an extra 15-20 minutes to drop it off. But if it had happened yesterday, it would have been a right pain in the ass. But wasn't such an issue today. So that's £45.50, so 80 plus 30, about just over 160 for the day, which isn't massive money, but tipped up not far from home, and I'm about 95 pence all miles for the day. So yeah, not bad for a Friday, really, the way things are at the moment. Quite happy with that, and just nice to be on the go most of the day, and too many long periods sitting around bidding for jobs. And some quite nice driving today. So started off obviously Stratford, nice walk around there in the morning, over to the other side of Worcester, then into Herefordshire, and then Herefordshire back up towards the West Mid. So quite nice. Across the river Avon, which I showed you this morning. over the River Severn, and then a River Wye by Hereford. Some lovely countryside over there, so quite nice drives. But yeah, it's some shocking roads, these A roads, like potholes, and definitely feel it in this van, especially when it's not loaded very much, because it's obviously got quite firm suspension to handle the weight. So yeah, that is Friday. So yeah, bit of a disappointing week overall, but obviously more of that in a summary. Hello, so Sunday now, so just compiled my figures. So time for summary. So 5 days this week, full, didn't get home any day this week, so 4 nights away, didn't use any hotels or anything, so 4 nights in the van. Yeah, actually sleeping reasonably well in the back of the van. I've started just putting earplugs in, just not that the heat is massively noisy when it's on a low setting, but yeah, I find that's helping me sleep a bit better. Yeah, and then it's been dry this week, but when it rains, it gets noisy in the back of the van, so I might just use earplugs a lot more often. Anyway, so 5 nights away. So just to go through the numbers, these numbers as ever are what I quoted without the VAT, so the takings, not earnings. So Monday, 30 and 167, the 30 being a cancellation was 197 for the day. Tuesday, 1 job, 167. Wednesday, 1 job for 80, the worst day. Thursday, 120 and £52.50, which is an Amazon block for 172.50. Friday, 38, 80 and £45.50, which is an Amazon block, so that was 163.50. So Monday was my best day at 197, didn't get over 200 for any day this week. So total comes to 780, which is £156 a day. Mileage 909 miles. So I didn't do many dead miles today because I didn't nip home during the week because I wasn't that far away, or I didn't on Friday. I ended up landing quite close to home. So yeah, only 909 miles. So pence per mile, all miles from leaving here on Monday to getting back on a Friday, 85.8. So that's pretty good. I think that's going to be my target. If I can average 85 pence a mile, all miles, so loaded and unloaded, at 85 or a bit higher, I'll be pretty happy, to be honest. Obviously just need to get more jobs during the week and less sitting around. So yeah, that is my takings net of that. So VAT would have gone on top of that, and I'm on a flat rate scheme, so I get to keep some of it. That's the way it works on that scheme. So after costs, so taking into account the VAT bonus and then minus my costs, is about 515 for the day, so that's my pre-tax. So I reckon take home is about 420 for the week, which is obviously pretty low for 5 days. It's below 100 quid a day. Being self-employed and tramping in a van is obviously not enough, but it's just the way it is at the moment with COVID restrictions. So I'm still pretty optimistic for when we finally start to ease out. But as I've said before, it's just very conservative way of coming out of it. I was hoping it's going to happen a bit quicker, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's it for the week. No real questions to put out there this week, but as ever, if there's anything that's happened during the week that you'd like to comment on, any tips you can offer me or anyone else who watches this video, as ever, please put them below. And probably going to be about 35 minutes this vlog, week in the life, so I've tried to make it a bit shorter this week, so like 40 and 50 minutes recently. Yeah, so thanks for watching this far if you have, and as ever, cheers.